For those just joining us, we're turning these Wednesday AMAs into true AMAs where you guys control the mic and you guys ask all the questions. So we're not doing a Wednesday update. We're doing a Wednesday AMA, where that stands for Ask Me Anything. So I don't know if everybody can hear me. Can people hear me?
We hear you, John.
Okay.
If you have a question, use the raise hand feature.
Yep. If you have a question, use the raised hand feature. Again, this is going to be an Ask Me Anything. Otherwise, we'll kind of just, continue just with some general chat. We want to start giving updates in our video AMA. I think our initial video AMA this past weekend was extremely successful. A lot of people loved that. We got, everybody to see the face of some critical members of the team for the first time. And I think that was really, really good. And instead of doing 2 smaller updates per week, we wanted to give the community the chance to do a real AMA where we actually talk about the things that the community wants to hear and wants to talk about. And the last few AMAs that we've done, especially now that we're going to a video AMA on Sundays, the video AMA on Sunday is more organized to the point to where we're not going to have live AMA chats. And so we wanted to turn this Wednesday chat into a true AMA where people can ask the questions they want to hear, get the information they want. Again, we may not be able to answer every question, but we'll absolutely address every question. So again, please feel free to raise your hand. I'll pick on you, ask any question you want, and then, we'll address the question, try to answer it, and really start utilizing this AMA time for a question and answer period where you truly can ask us anything. So still don't see any questions. I'll answer questions in Turkish if we need to. When Lambo. So no answer on when Lambo. Can't really answer when Lambo, but I will address it. So yeah, when Lambo. Don't know when Lambo, but definitely something you guys can figure out. James Hammond, I'm going to allow you to speak. Go ahead and unmute yourself, and then you can.
Hi, John. Can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay. I was going to ask you a question. When do you anticipate the marketing to start really appearing on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've engaged with a marketing firm that's working specifically on this is a long-term engagement. This specific marketing firm has crypto. We've been talking to a lot. First off, we've talked to Johnny. How many marketing firms would you say you've talked to? Like 5 or 6 over the last week and a half? Johnny?
Yeah, about 5 or 6, John.
Yeah, so we've engaged with 5 or 6 marketing companies. They've all put together some really excellent proposals. But again, we're not looking for somebody that's there for a week or 2 weeks. We're looking for a long-term partnership, somebody who can understand the brand, the vision, the value proposition, and really execute long-term on delivering what what we're going for. And so I think at this point, Johnny, again, we have finalized the decision on who we're going with. It's just a matter now of them executing. I think, Johnny, we said anywhere from 6 to 7 days before they started engaging. I mean, you guys know, James, that we've got some stuff coming out of our community right now. But again, in order to move faster, more consistently, we felt like getting a marketing company involved was the optimal strategy there. And so, we'll continue to push out stuff from our community-driven and oriented process, but definitely getting into a professional marketing team's hands has been started, and we'll start to see the results of that here in the next 7, 10 days.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I actually have just one more question. As a person, a part of the community, if we see, I don't know, someone that has a lot of contacts, who would we send that person to? Would it be Michael, or would it be?
I would say, you know, you can certainly send it to Michael.
Okay.
If you can send it to me, you can send it to Johnny, you can send it
Okay.
to Eric. You know, really any of the guys that are on the website. Trav's part of the, you know, core group now too. So you can send it to really any of those guys.
Okay.
You know, we all have our focus, you know, so if it's marketing related, Johnny's probably the best person if you want to get it in front of somebody who's marketing oriented very quickly. But
Okay.
again, yeah, if you send it to Michael, I mean, Michael does a great job of getting that stuff to where it needs to go. So any of those people would be fine.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering my questions.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. Great questions. Sal, let me go ahead and allow you to speak, and then go ahead, Sal. You've got the floor. Unmute yourself. And
hey, man, thanks. Yeah, sorry I'm a little bit late. I had work, which stinks. But if somebody asks this, I'll just listen to it after. My question is, as in regards to the advisors, I'm not sure if that's been set up or if those were the guys from the Twitch chat that you had on Sunday. But is that going to be updated on the website for the advisors that you're working with?
so the people on the chat were all team members, and so there were no specifically advisors there. So we've since taken Trav from being an advisor to now being our chief strategy officer, and so Trav has been working with us now, you know, front office as opposed to just as an advisor, and will continue to do such as we move forward. So the team you saw on the chat this weekend, of course, you saw Michael, who Michael has been working in a, you know, more of a project flow capacity, helping organize and execute on certain strategies. And, you know, we've got Trav in there, who's, you know, longtime entrepreneur, runs several brands. He's got some huge partnership opportunities through Trav, and then just understands how to run large businesses, has, you know, an understanding of several different types of business models. He worked with Marcus Lemonis for a long time, was basically one of Marcus Lemonis's right hands, if you guys know who that is. And so tremendous opportunity in Trav and what he can bring to the table, just from understanding how to break down businesses, look out at strategy, where road bumps, speed bumps can be, helping us avoid those as best we can. So, you know, then we also had Johnny on that call. Johnny's focuses, you know, again, we've pulled together. We've got some big partnership announcements that we've been holding off on announcing, just because we're trying to finalize, you know, both the content strategy for the outreach, as well as just coordinating the announcement with the other side. But those will be announced. We've got some content built for that. We want more. And so that's Johnny's focus. And then Eric will start coming on these next chats. He's our CTO. And so we'll add Trav to the website. But we're also working on a website update with this marketing firm that we've engaged. So we'll get him on the website, but we'll be bringing out a new website potentially with even more of the team as we continue to finalize that team.
Awesome, man. Thanks. I'm definitely looking forward to the future of this. So thanks.
Thanks, Sal. No more questions in here, I don't think. So I'll answer a couple of the ones from the chat room. Let's see here. We've got Matic partnership. No, guys, we're still working with Matic. We're still in the, you know, ecosystem and development phases. You know, again, this is a big project. It's not a you know, just make an announcement and then we'll figure it out. We're working with Matic to deliver actual product, and so, you know, as that continues to move along, and we get to the point to where ready to make that official announcement, we will. I won't put a timeline on it because, again, it is a project that does have a lot of components, and we just need to make sure that we deliver. I know that you guys have heard a lot about people rushing. Well, maybe you don't know about this, but a lot of tokens rush to delivery. They're focused more on getting the token out the door than actually, making sure that the token is coded in the right way and the ecosystem is fleshed out the right way. And then they end up having issues with attacks or loopholes in the contract, or just things that are within their control that they could have taken a little bit more time on, and done the right way. And so we want to make sure that gets done, and will get done. And then when we're ready and everybody feels great about where we are, we've definitely got Matic in our pocket to do an official announcement alongside with us. Just kind of coordinated effort to push the message out that we're now part of the Matic ecosystem as well. And so we really like that, and we're going to make sure that we execute on that in the right way. Let me see, anything else? BSC drop? No, we're not waiting for anything. I think I like the fact that the chat has slowed down significantly with regards to asking about it. And so we're not waiting for bigger market cap, better conditions, nothing like that. It's really just a matter of we've got to do it when we don't have a lot of people that are sitting there waiting to click the button. Under the radar as possible, as under the radar as possible. So I don't want to put any timelines out there. At this point, it will happen. It's going to happen. I know that a lot of people have been, coming to me with different comments and different suggestions. One of the things that came up was, getting a randomizer, just so there's no rhyme or reason to when or why we do it. A randomized time generator, and I think I'm going to take that advice, and then I'll take a snapshot of that once we launch. I'll take a snapshot of that random time generator just so that the community knows that it was done completely randomly. There was no rhyme or reason. It's really just to not let anybody have a beat over anybody else on getting to the line first. So that's really just all we're doing with BSC. But everything's done, everything's ready. We're all good to go. We've done everything we need to do on that chain, and we're all good. Airdrop. So I'll briefly touch on the airdrop. The airdrop, we have taken our first snapshot. That snapshot, if you hadn't, it doesn't really matter when that snapshot was taken per se. It only matters for people who sold off tokens and aren't planning on reacquiring tokens. But if you didn't have tokens in the first snapshot, but you have tokens in the second snapshot, you're fine. If you had tokens in the first snapshot and you kept tokens through the second snapshot and you didn't reduce your stake, then you're fine. If you had tokens in the first snapshot and you increased your token count through the second snapshot, you're fine. The only situation that would basically disqualify you from any BSC airdrop is first not holding any token. So if you don't hold any token, you don't get any BSC airdrop. I think everybody understands that. But second would be if you reduced your bag between the two between the two snapshots. And so again, first snapshot has happened. First snapshot was taken. I'm not going to give the exact time. I don't think it's really as important. Actually, now that it's happened, I can give the exact time. I don't think that hurts anything. Let me see the exact time, if it even gives it to me. Oh yeah, I got it right here. Hold on one second. The time was June 28th around 3:04 p.m. So the first snapshot was taken around June 28th. But again, that doesn't really matter for anybody who didn't have tokens. because if you didn't have tokens but you got tokens, you will fall into the category of increasing your token count. So you will get tokens. That's as far as I'll talk on that. If there's any other questions, of course, I'm happy to answer those. But that's as far as that. DigiFinex. So we have started trading on DigiFinex. We've gotten more liquidity in there. It's starting to move. You've seen some transactions in there. We've been monitoring it and adding liquidity. They kind of work a lot different than any of these other exchanges that we've ever worked with before. And so they require basically us to maintain the liquidity from the perspective of the entire timeline. And so that's what we're doing. There has been a lot more transaction activity on DigiFinex. We resubmitted it actually to CoinMarketCap. Typically takes about 4 or 5 days, and so we should see that show up very, very soon. Let's see. We talked about the marketing videos. Talked about Polygon. Talked about DigiFinex. I will give a quick update. There is a poll that we're working on. If you guys can go in there and vote. I talked to the owner of the poll page, and he's aware of the fact that a lot of these tokens are utilizing bots. So don't worry that we have gone, significantly under what some of these other coins have been able to do. Like they've been on the list for 6 or 7 days, and then now all of a sudden within a day they grow by 10x, 20x. It's just not fathom. You can't fathom that, especially going in and looking at their chat size and the number of people interacting in their chat. It's just not feasible. So don't worry about that. We've got that under control. Any other questions in the chat or in the call right now? Go ahead and raise your hand, and I'll select you. What kind of loans will people be able to get? Initially we're focused on working through the complexities of solar loans, but also looking into mortgages and auto loans, business asset loans, anything that can be collateralized against an actual asset. Not going to be doing leveraged Bitcoin loans or any type of leverage lending. We're not going to do. It's only going to be direct collateralization on assets. So yeah, that's what we're looking at doing. I won't talk about any other companies at this point. I won't talk about a rough estimate for lending out of the liquidity pool because we really don't know. We're going to work as hard and fast as we can. eBay, I can't tell you how many tokens equate to how much BNB. I cannot tell you that. I don't know, and I'm not going to do the math, and you can do the math. Be Social Wallet, good question. So we've deployed it on the test Google Play network. Our internal team has been doing a lot of testing on it again, other than just our dev team. So now our core team has it. They're playing with it. The next things you'll see is that we're going to be rolling out an alpha test. So we're going to allow some of the community to sign up to be first in line to get an opportunity to test the wallet. And so we're working on some marketing for that right now. And that'll be coming out very soon. Any other questions, either from the chat or here in this? Nothing to report on exchanges right now. When they release, you'll hear about them. That's the strategy we have to go to now. So when they get released, there'll be notifications both from our team as well as the so MDS, our total supply. Our total supply on Etherscan, yeah, we have to do that manually. So we'll get in there and do that. I'll talk to the team about that after this call and see what we can do about updating that. Same thing with CoinMarketCap. We have to update that number manually. Block score technology begun R&D. Yes, R&D, the R part is underway. The D part is, going to start very soon. And so, there are some components of the block score technology that require third-party Oracle integrations, meaning in an Oracle in the context of an Oracle in the context of bank blockchain is essentially what a trusted API would be considered. So yes, definitely started the R. And from a development perspective, I think we can consider some of what we're doing with the research side certainly spilling into the initial phases of development frameworks, how and what we're going to be putting it together in. So yeah, definitely block score is the next piece on the list. Sorry, we did release the info on total supply, and it will be the same on BSC. Let's see, when you stake tokens towards the line. Matthew, I won't go too much into that, but there is an aspect of being able to select a pool. There will be that aspect, not for a specific mortgage or a specific product, but yeah, there is the concept of stakes. Airdrop. There is an airdrop happening for ERC20 token holders. You will get a percentage of by holding your bag, you will get a percentage of the BSC airdrop. So I'll talk quickly about the BSC airdrop. So the way the BSC airdrop is going to work is we've put a timeline on when, after the BSC launch happens, when we'll take the second snapshot. But the nature of how we have to do those airdrops is there's a process involved with that. So I don't want you guys to think that when I say we will take a snapshot within 2 weeks of the BSC launch happening, that means your airdrops will happen at the same time, because there's a process of ensuring that we do a proper diff between the two snapshots. We want to make sure that that's right on. There's no mistakes in that diff. And then, because we only get one shot at doing this right. And once those tokens are distributed, those tokens are distributed. We don't get to come back and try this again and roll back and try it again and roll back. So we're definitely going to take our time with it. It's more important to get it right than it is to get your tokens. If you're long-term holding anyway, it shouldn't matter. If they happen on, day, 1 day after 2 weeks snapshot, or, within 5 days after the 2 week snapshot, because there is a process, and the process is definitely something that we have to get right. We will get right. And, we're not going to risk that at all. So it's more important for us, again, to get this right. And and doing this with doing this with the proper steps and the proper order to make sure it gets done in a manner that gets everybody the airdrop that we've told them that we're going to get. Yeah, Identikit, the wallet will be BSC and ERC. That was one of the reasons why we did a little bit of a delay on the wallet, is because we turned it into a BSC wallet as well after we decided that we wanted to get on the BSC chain as well. And so the ERC and the BSC chains will, we could possibly look at adding a swap feature later. That there's a lot more development in a cross-chain swap feature. But yeah, absolutely. I think, allowing you to swap for your BSC for ERC is something that, or really any type of swap for any, really any token, from any token to any token, will be the eventual goal. But there are some other swap tools out there, bridge tools out there. And so, we'll evaluate if it's better to build our own or integrate with a solid third party. Partnerships sometimes are better than building your own product, because that expands the network, the pool of eyeballs that are looking at your product. If we build our own product, we're marketing it to our group, we're marketing it to our community. If we utilize a third party, then all of a sudden, just like with the Polygon Matic integration, by bringing on Polygon Matic, we now have the Polygon Matic ecosystem to expand upon and get those users to look at us. So it's definitely a big decision when we do developments like that, on whether or not we build them ourselves or we go out and we partner with a third party. Again, we felt like partnering with Polygon Matic and expanding our reach into the Polygon Matic framework, especially since they're excited about the project and want to do coordinated announcements with us about the project. Is definitely something that is a major advantage point versus us just doing our own chain and kind of trying to market it ourselves. So these are the types of thoughts that we're taking into consideration, presenting to the community, getting feedback from the community, and aligning what the community thoughts are with what these initial thoughts are, so that we can really run this as a community driven, governance oriented project right now. Let's see if there's any other questions. No other questions right now. We don't have any timelines for staking right now. Crush, that's a great question. So yeah, the goal with with adding BSC to the Bank Social wallet, to the Social wallet, is that you will be able to see both your ERC tokens when you import your wallet. You'll be able to see both your ERC tokens as well as your BSC tokens. So yeah, that's a great question, Crush. The Be Social wallet with a single import of your ERC tokens will give you the ability to see both. Great question. I'm happy. How are you guys liking this AMA style update on Wednesdays versus me just rattling through updates? I feel like, the questions, giving the community really the ability to engage and ask the questions they want to ask specifically. We wanted to give the community more time to do that. Again, I think we went from initially having these big AMAs where we were doing hour-long conversations where we were some updates, it was some AMA, and then we changed to saying, oh, okay, now we're going to do a 15-minute update and a 15-minute AMA. And then we said, I don't think that's really the right approach. Why don't we take a two-pronged approach? Why don't we start doing our video AMAs, which those are just going to get better and better and better. Wait till you see our next one. This is going to be an excellent next one. So the Sunday one, will have that to where it's a full update, 30 minutes, full update, nothing but updates. And then we'll go. The other one, this Wednesday one will be the community, be a true AMA where the community can ask us anything. Again, I think that having both, if we do both, what we end up getting is two updates through the same week where we're just giving smaller pieces of less substantial news, and that doesn't really give people the ability to listen to one show and have a very, very good understanding of what the past week and the next week will look like. And so by doing the Social Sunday update, that's going to give people the ability to listen to one 30-minute live broadcast, video broadcast, where they see us, where they get to watch us. We'll have the live chat going at the same time, and there possibly will be an AMA section, but it will be more of a formatted show versus a live AMA where we just take questions. But we still wanted the community to have that, the ability. We wanted the community to have that ability to still ask us questions and dedicate time to the AMA. So that's what this is going to be. Let me see. I've got another question here. Touching on the randomizer. No, so the randomizer, we definitely don't want to randomize social posts. Those need to be coordinated and done with intention. The randomizer was really just for the BSC launch time, so that I'm not picking a time. I've already gone to a randomizer, actually, and I've already found a randomizer, and I will utilize that randomizer to tell me a time of when I will launch. And that way it's truly, it doesn't give me the ability to, kind of pre-figure out or pick a time that works, so people don't say, oh, well, you just pick the time that works for you. No, I'm going to truly do it randomly. And then I'll take a picture of that screenshot and I'll send it to everybody. So that's what the randomizer is for. So I'm just going to go for a few more minutes here, and then I'll shut this off. Do we have any other questions? Go ahead and raise your hand if you have questions, or you can go ahead and throw them in the chat, and I'll just pick them out of the chat. All right, we'll just give another minute or two here, and if we have no more questions, I'll go ahead and wrap this AMA up, and we'll get back to business. We already discussed videos. I'm not going to address specific wallets because there's no way for us to make a statement for somebody else. So I'm not going to address specific wallets.
VG, go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask, I've been hearing some, if I recall correctly, was Bank Social audited by TechRate?
Bank Social was audited by TechRate, correct.
The concern I have is I've been hearing kind of like sketchy things about TechRate, one of which was that the I don't know if you've heard about the Samurai token.
Yeah, so I can address that specifically. So as soon as the Samurai token, I know not personally or anything, but that Russ We Trust guy, we had some, he treated us very unfairly out the gate. Regardless, when that came out, I heard about it. I heard that they blamed TechRate. And I know the owner, not personally, but I know him. And I went to him and I said, how could you guys let something like this? How could you guys let something like this slide? And he sent me the token contract review where they called out issues, a lot of major issues with that token. And I think that the fact that they didn't address those issues really goes to be more on the side of, but I don't want to discuss other tokens too much. I can tell you that from a perspective of our token and, any issues, the problem with the Samurai token, very frankly, was that, and most tokens, to be even more frank, are that they're written by people who, regardless of if they know how to code or not. I think that's a whole different conversation and a whole different speculative nature that I won't get into. But they're done by people that these people don't know. The one thing that I've known a couple people who have launched tokens, and my first question to them is, who wrote your token? Who actually did the coding? And what I hear back to back is that, well, I hired some guy out of X country, and he sent me the contract back and I launched it. And to me, that just smells, I come from a software development background my whole life. I've, either been a, director, coordinator, heavily into software. And the last thing you do is deploy production code without having some type of audit trail or peer review system in place, especially a financial tool like this. And so, if we're just talking about a website where somebody goes and sees a misspelling, not the same type of, but when you have a financial product, specifically, I've worked with financial products in the processor space. So, connections between banks, interconnectivity between banks, settlement, charges, transactions, things like that. And those are the types of applications that you don't just launch. And I think the biggest problem that I see in the crypto space right now is that you have people that just want to launch a token, and they go out and they hire people. They don't know who those people are. They're not, the people launching the tokens aren't savvy. Forget just being technologically unsavvy. They're most of the time not even business savvy, because if you have some sort of business sense, you would very quickly understand that launching a financial tool, for example, our wallet, we're going to get somebody to third-party audit our wallet. Eric and I were discussing last night how just to have a comprehensive strategy around releasing financial tools, right? Community built financial tools, we will have a third-party audit system in place. And so, as well as our own internal review of the code, but a third-party review of the code. And so specifically with our smart contract, I'm the one who put that together. I'm the one who launched that. I'm the one who, before we even launched that contract, I don't know if you guys remember this, but we initially had a date set for the initial launch. We pushed that out a couple of days because the audit came back, no major issues, just some small potentials for out of gas if we made certain arrays in technical sense, if we made certain arrays too large, which we never planned on doing anyway, but it could definitely be something that happened. We fixed it. I fixed it. I went in there, I rewrote the code myself. I didn't hire some third party to do it. And if I had hired some third party to do it, I would have gotten it re-audited before pushing that out into production. And we know now, like I know that didn't happen with that specific coin, and it didn't happen with a lot of other coins that I've seen out there. And I think that's one of the biggest things that is a differentiating factor between us and a lot of other tokens, a lot of other blockchain projects, is that we understand, not to say that we can't also make mistakes, but the type of mistakes that are being made are mistakes that they should not be being made in that manner. It's one thing to have a Uniswap bug that you can't control, and it's a completely other thing to be given a technical audit of your contract. And again, the project owner for the Samurai token, his excuse was he didn't know about the audit. Well, the fact that he would put his name on something without demanding an audit or taking his name off the project completely without the audit speaks volumes to the technical capacity. And again, I'm not saying that people don't make mistakes. I'm not saying that we won't make mistakes, but I can tell you that in our experience and the experience that we've built up over these last 18, 19 years of being specifically in the technology realm and specifically handling, building, managing, deploying software that needed to be Visa SIS compliant, that needed to be SOX compliant, that needed to be financially sound for third parties, to include other businesses, third parties like end users, customers, to be in that realm, really gives us the ability to look at it from those types of perspectives versus just how do I launch a token and grow it to X market cap? And we don't ever talk about market cap because that's not part of our roadmap. Market cap is not part of our roadmap. What is building the community, building solid products, and deploying those products with the proper marketing so that, again, people see that they're solid products and that we built a community. And so I hope that answers the question. I know I cut you off initially, but I didn't want to go too deep into the details of that because or have you go too deep into the details of that, just because I've done a lot of due diligence on that specific project, and my findings are fairly thorough and I would say fairly complete as well. I hope that answers the question.
Can I?
Absolutely.
Can I follow up? So the reason I kind of wanted to get into that was because so this wasn't the only thing I've heard kind of recently iffy about tech rate. The other iffy thing I heard was, and I have no idea if there is any ground for these accusations.
Well, I'll let you finish, but I just want to make a statement that I'm not really a big fan. I mean, as you can tell through my last comments, I'm not a fan of putting things out there that we cannot verify. Everything that I just told you is 100% verifiable. Literally, I can show you, I can show you my conversations with both Russ, with both Tech Rate. I can show you the audit that was delivered to me that he never got. Like, that is all 100% verifiable. I can't verify, for example, and I won't make speculation on who he hired, how he hired them. I can only tell you what I know, right? But go ahead. I'll let you go ahead and ask your question. But I'm not a fan, just so you know, of answering questions regarding speculation, just because they make it seem like I'm specifically talking about something that we can prove when we can't. But go ahead.
Yeah, so I think I'd have to ideally kind of hunt down the person I overheard saying this, and I'm sure this applies to some auditing teams out there. But basically, the accusation was that that TechRate, if I recall correctly, according to this person, has well, that if they find vulnerabilities in the code, that they sell that information to third parties that take advantage of the vulnerabilities. If you know what I mean.
So here's how I'll address that.
Yeah.
I would find it extremely hard to believe that the owner was engaged in telling owners of tokens to fix things and then hoping they don't fix them so he could sell the vulnerability to the outside. I'm not going to say that it's not possible for somebody in their, community of either, because I'm sure that, when they get busy, right, they probably utilize outside third-party developers who understand blockchain, and then they have their own group of internal developers, re-review that data just so they can push through more data. And who knows if there's somebody out there that is taking advantage of an uninformed project leader that deploys a contract, without fixing it. I don't know, but I know.
Hello?
We lost you, John.
Sorry, I got something happened. Something happened with my. Can everybody hear me?
Now again?
Okay. So, he's been very quick to answer. He's very direct in his answers. He's, provided the backup that I need to see to help me understand that from the perspective of him informing project owners, he's done his part. Again, we're human. So is there an opportunity for something to get past? Yes, but I think that's also a reason why people who are building blockchain technology need to be technology people. They don't, this is not, you're not starting a car dealership where you might use technology as part of your ecosystem. You are utilizing technology as your ecosystem. And so I find it very, very difficult to, follow and believe in projects that are led by people who can't demonstrate some sort of technological expertise in the just in general, from a perspective of being able to manage and deploy technology. And so, I'm again hesitant to put anything back on TechRate. Now, I will also say that within our roadmap, as we start releasing more tokens and more complex tokens, that getting security audits from other third parties, not better third parties, but other third parties, just like I was mentioning before about our wallet and getting a third party update or a third party audit on that, again, just gives us and the community the comfort in knowing that multiple eyes have looked at this with little to no incentive other than doing their job. To make sure that the product is, intended to do what it's intended to do. And if there are people that are selling, if there are developers that TechRate is using that are, selling that, I would find it hard to believe that at least Zufar and his team are in on it. But you hear all the time about, companies that have people that are not desirable, that do things that they shouldn't be doing within the company. And it's very difficult for an organization to manage a rogue person. It's just, you got to get them out as fast as you can and clean up the holes and just make sure that you didn't leave enough holes for them to, do more damage than something like that could have allowed them to do. And so, really that's kind of, as far as addressing it, I don't know that I answered any question there, VG, but, other than saying that more and different eyeballs from a audit perspective are definitely part of our roadmap. I would just tell you that since I built the bug, I would just call it a potential scenario that, yeah, I mean, we call it a bug, a very, very minor bug. We fixed it. I think we're probably one of the only tokens out there, not the only token, but one of the only tokens out there that's received, even from TechRate, a completely clean, zero bug audit. I know that there are a lot of audits out there, and I've looked at a lot of audits that have, small issues in them. I mean, probably 98% of them have small, maybe no criticals, but they have small issues in them. And I think that that's very easily verifiable on the audit page of TechRate themselves. So, yeah, I'm happy to address any follow-ups to that too, because I'm very passionate about making sure that crypto is done in a way that provides legitimacy. And I think the only way to do that is to provide transparency into the people and the techniques and the process as much as we can, at least for transparency and frankly for the community. And also, I mean, we have looked at getting audited by something like a CerTic, but again, just picking apart other audits, and I'm talking personally, me doing it, just picking apart other audits, looking at what type of vulnerabilities or bugs exist in those audits, comparing those to the code that we've written. I feel confident in our ability to pass another audit for this token, right? Again, and this token is not that complex from a code perspective. It's 1,000 lines of codes. I mean, I've written, and I'm sure Eric can attest to this, I've written, maybe close to 100,000, or if not more, lines of code. 100,000, that's probably not even close. I've probably written hundreds of thousands of lines of codes, maybe close to 1 million lines of code in my lifetime. And there's a process you go by where some of that code is already in the market. It's tested, it's tried, it's audited, and you build upon that. And so for this initial token, some of what we did definitely fits into that category. Other parts of it, we did that no other token is doing. And I think as far as getting a clean scan, we've already seen that several people have copied and pasted our token or significant parts of our token because we are a clean scan. We've gotten clean scans. And so that's not to say that something like a CerTic audit won't go into details that maybe provide a more in-depth review of certain aspects. Like I know with the TechRate audit, for example, the TechRate audit doesn't really highlight the ability for us to change token parameters. Specifically, the token owner, me, can change tax and can change a couple other aspects of the token. Not necessarily that those are extremely detrimental, but what we're really talking about there is if I go in and change the token and there's no announcement or there's no community buy-in, we're talking about a case of advertising something that isn't true, and that's a completely separate case, right? I think there's a lot of other details involved with that I don't want to be involved with, quite frankly, and so I'm not going to go out there and change anything. But from a perspective of are there any backdoors or loopholes that are ruggable loopholes in the token? I think we're fairly confident in the fact that there aren't, and the fact that we've made the market cap we had, and we're holding at the level that we have means there was a lot of eyeballs on us, and if there was a potential for this to be exploited. I think we've gone through a rigorous enough introduction to the markets to have an idea of a potential scenario like that playing out. So I appreciate that you know, those questions, VG. They're very good questions, and again, something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely. Okay, that was a big one. I went through almost 20 minutes on that one, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off, guys. That was over an hour. Thank you very much. Again, we'll be having our next AMA, the video AMA, on Sunday. We've made a lot of updates to this one. Lot of good graphical updates, formatting. So I think you'll really enjoy that. Make sure you're on that Sunday at noon, I want to say. Just stay updated with socials, and it'll be on there. Thanks everybody for coming on. Really appreciate. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you're at. All the love, all the power. Have a fantastic day.